Disney fans, we're coming in a little early today. All right.
Actually, we're not.
Are we not? Are we on time?
No, it's 7:19.
Oh, I can't believe it. I guess we're a little late. All right. Let me make sure everything's good to go. Hopefully people can check us out here on our live stream. And before we get started with the main bulk of the show dedicated to the Muppets today, Kristen, did you know that people can contribute to our show?
How can they do that?
And be a patron? Okay, so this is not Patreon. This is something actually kind of new that we're doing. If you check out our podcast on the many different podcast players like Anchor, which by the way is hosting our podcast, you can actually put some tips in our tip jar, which is cool, right? So you have the ability to do that. All you have to do is just find our podcast, the Disney List. You can find it on Anchor. You can find it on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and so many different distributors of good podcasts like Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Radio Public. And you can actually click on support this podcast, and then $1 increments per month or $5 increments per month or $10 increments per month. Everything that you do will help us out. And we would appreciate it. The other thing you can do to help us out, which is totally free, is book your vacation with Kristen. The light is at the end of the tunnel, folks. And as we all get ready and get to plan our mode of our vacations.
Now, it's not free for them to go on their trip. No. If they book their trip with me, my services and how I help them and all of that stuff is free. Yeah. There's no like travel agent fee or, right. Something like that. And Disney's going to charge you the same amount. Difference is that I go and I get people better deals because I always keep looking for deals.
Actually,
Disney just wants your money.
Actually, we should put together a audio piece, a little promo that actually has some of your best clients' testimonials as to how much money you save them on their vacations.
Ooh.
So we're going to call on you, Jenny. We're going to call on you to do it because you're awesome. Among other people, there's tons of other people. Jeremy, Jenny, a lot of our
Kevin.
Disney friends, Kevin. Absolutely. So that's another way you can support the show, which is great. But what is free? And this is what I actually meant to say. What is free other than booking your vacation with you? And how can people do that?
They can email me at themeparksandcruises@gmail.com.
Amazing. Is you can like, share, and subscribe to this show on Facebook and, of course, on all the different podcatchers. I'm waving around my phone. It's annoying. But you can like, share, and subscribe this video on Facebook, YouTube, all of our podcasts through Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and so many different places. So
yeah. I want to get people's opinion because both of us have very Disney-oriented phone cases.
That's right.
So I want to take a vote. I want to know who they think has the cooler phone case.
Okay.
So you have Aljon here has the nice Iron Man comic book.
Supporting the Marvel, man. I've got the Kevin Feige collection hat. I've got the Iron Man iPhone.
Personally, I think mine is cooler.
Yes.
Mine is all of the Disney snacks. Of course, with my nice little Dining at Disney pop socket.
You got to make that pop socket available for your fans to purchase.
Yeah, I need to come up with a way to raise some money so I can buy those and just give them to people.
Absolutely, that would be cool. I tell you, well, support the show. We will be one step closer to making it a reality. I want to say hello to everyone in the chat before we get our show started. Jen, hello, Jen. Jen says, hi, Kristen and Aljon. John Conley, what up, John? Represent. Kevin, what up? Happy Saturday night. Happy Sunday night, rather. Kevin, I don't know what day it is. I'm in the compound. I barely go outside. Lindsay,
Ed's saying hi from New Orleans. He's in the metro area.
What up, Nollins in the house, Ed? I love it. Lindsay says, I was wondering how was last week. Last week was good. Last week was good. We are slowly picking up some momentum on our Disney 30-day shirt challenge and hashtag 30-day Disney shirt challenge, hashtag the Disney List podcast. And Jeremy had posted something, tagged us on Instagram, and so has Hope, which is great because she is Disney shirting all the time. And of course, we know Hope's.
Oh yeah, because she's doing her little
Instagram. She's
every
Disney
day,
bounding.
yeah,
Disney bounding every day from her quarantine castle, as it were. So now, earlier today, I was wearing a Disney shirt, and then I went out. And I'm now not wearing a Disney shirt. We're still wearing a cool shirt, but it's not a Disney shirt.
You're wearing a Disney
but
hat.
I'm wearing a Disney hat. So there's my Avengers Kevin Feige collection Avengers hat, which is awesome. It's got the Endgame Infinity Gauntlet on there for Thanos. But I also have my co-host, lovely and talented Kristen, next to me wearing her awesome Disney shirt. What's on your shirt?
I am wearing Minnie Mouse, and it is the 2018 Flower and Garden Festival.
All right, I love it. Hey, Joan joining us. Hello, Joan. Awesome. Kristen has the best phone case, Lindsay says. Well, you see, I love it. I love it. All right, so we're going to get the show started in Big Muppet style. Stand by. The show starts right now. The following is a production of the Sorcerer Radio Network.
Fun imagination, huh?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Broadcasting from the Tiki Room Studios in Music City, it's the Disney List. The Disney List.
You've got to have characters that the audience, the viewer, the reader cares about.
What makes a hero? What's friendship? What's the idea of sacrificing yourself for something larger?
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
The Disney List on Sorcerer Radio with your hosts, Kristen and Aljon. Welcome, one and all, to the Disney List. Every week, we provide you a ranking of Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, theme park attractions, characters, resorts, all kinds of new stuff, all kinds of cool stuff. Every single week on the Disney List on Facebook and on Sorcerer Radio at srsounds.com. I'm your co-host, Aljon Go, lifelong Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars fan, joined by my better half, Miss Dining at Disney.com, also the travel guru. Hello, Kristen.
Hello.
And,
I just have to say that song just makes me think very much the 80s. And today, because of it, I had to go with the 80s neon pink lipstick today.
I love it. It looks amazing in the background. What we need is, when we have the new studio all decked out with our backgrounds and stuff, we'll have some really cool things, and maybe we'll have some really cool neon lights, like our lightsabers in the background, huh? Pretty cool. We need some pink neon, pink lighting. Would you like pink lighting or blue lighting in the background?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Who else am I asking?
Well, personally, I want aqua and purple. So
aqua and purple.
Aqua and purple neon.
Right. Well, we don't have maybe we can use some of our Philips lights or something like that. But at any rate, welcome one and all to the Disney List. And by the way, Disney List can be heard not only on Sorcerer Radio, but check out all of your podcatchers out there and your podcast services, and support, like, share, and subscribe to our show, and join us every weekend, and click that bell for notifications when we go live and record the show. Like our people in our chat, we've got Tanya, what's up? Joan, Lindsay, we got John, Jen, Kevin, Ed from Nollins. So it's good to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Kristen, there was something I wanted to mention to you. The 80s. So the songs that are part of our show, the intro of the show, the exit of our show, that's brought to you by our friends at Replay Heroes. You can check them out on Facebook. They're amazing guitar players. They do a lot of synthwave, pop, and rock shreddy guitars. So if you like Stranger Things, if you love 80s hair metal, in a combination of the both, you're going to love it. Their album is amazing, and they're friends of mine, and you should check them out. Replay Heroes on Facebook and also on Spotify. So anyway, speaking of 80s and this show, Kristen, you alluded to what we're going to be discussing today, which is
the Muppets.
Oh, the Muppets. Sadly, we were celebrating the life and times of Jim Henson on our post on Instagram on Disney Listcast. And it's hard to believe that May 16th of 1990, the man who started a revolution, an innovator like no other, Jim Henson, passed away.
I can't believe that was 30 years ago.
It's hard to believe. Hard to believe. A lot of people are celebrating the life of Jim Henson, and what an amazing filmmaker and also puppeteer extraordinaire, animator, cartoonist, inventor, actor. The man behind The Dark Crystal, one of my favorite films growing up. Labyrinth, also in there as well. And the innovator behind Sesame Street, The Muppet Show, Fraggle Rock, just to name a few. And a Disney legend that was honored by the Disney company in 2011 that we happened to see, which was amazing. So Jim Henson, he's got a great legacy.
Now, if I remember right, he had been sick, and by the time he got to the hospital, he had pneumonia so severe that they couldn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very sad. Henson appeared with Kermit on the Arsenio Hall show on May 4th of 1990. It would be his final television appearance. It's one of the most viewed pieces out there in terms of his interviews, because he went on the show with Kermit the Frog, which was great. But what happened was he disclosed to his publicist that he was tired. He had a sore throat, but felt that it would go away soon. And on May 12th, he arrived to Ashoki, North Carolina, with his daughter, Cheryl, to visit his father and stepmother, and then returned home to New York City the following day. Henson canceled a Muppet recording session that had been scheduled for May 14th, and his estranged wife came to visit that night. Henson had trouble breathing, woke up at 2 a.m., began coughing, and then it was presumed that he may be dying, went to the hospital. So he died that night in New York at the age of 53 at 1:21 a.m. He died from an infection that causes bacterial pneumonia.
Yep.
So
Streptococcus pneumonia.
Yeah, very, very sad indeed. And one of the, it's hard to talk about, the passing of a great man who contributed so much to pop culture and the lives of so many children, especially with the Muppets and Sesame Street. Because I can tell you that I loved the Muppet Show. And I love the Muppet Show. When we first got married, one of the things you got me initially was the box set of the Muppets that were on DVD. Love the Muppets. Still love the Muppets. I love the Muppet Show.
The Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Back when, in order to get one season, instead of them being like these nice little thin one disc, you had to have like 6-7 discs, and the thing was always like this big.
Yeah, big volumes, like a book, like a coffee table book. But
and we still have all those.
Still
we have
it's gosh, actually
our collections, our collections of DVD series now is insane. It takes up so much room because when we got them all, they didn't come on like a disc, and you didn't get like an entire series in a little pack that's only like half an inch wide.
Yeah.
One season sometimes was an inch and a half in size. Exactly.
Well, it was definitely cool to get the box set of the Muppet Show, and there's so much Muppet content that has yet to be on Disney Plus, and hopefully they will be putting that stuff on there really soon. But having said that, we're going to be talking about the top 5 attractions and Muppet-esque attractions that you can check out there at the Walt Disney World Resort. A lot of the Muppets attractions throughout all the Disney theme parks worldwide have actually been retired. And we'll go down memory lane for a little bit and talk about some of those before we launch into, what you can experience right now. Well, when the park opens, that is, there at Walt Disney World, which is cool. But let's take a trip down memory lane for a minute and remember the man, Jim Henson, and the Muppets. We found something really neat on the interwebs. In fact, it's an internal reel, film reel that Jim Henson made with Frank Oz and Michael Firth about the Muppets. And he talks about how the different characters, and I think a lot of times when a company gets involved or gets reorganized or goes through some type of merger, some of these internal videos back in the 80s and 90s into the 90s, and even today to a lesser degree, they circulate these videos around so people can get used to the other people that they're going to be working with or the franchise that they just bought, and also get distributed through the shareholders because the shareholders want to know what they've purchased. So, so this is a little
Hi
video.
there, I'm Jim Henson. This is Kermit the Frog here. Hello. And on my right, we have Frank Oz, major puppeteer, many characters, performer. And on my left is Michael Frith, who's sort of head of design of the Muppets. And what we wanted to do was sort of talk a little bit about these characters and our perception of them. And we'll just take them one by one, starting with the Frog here. Kermit has been around longer than any other character. He's around 30 years old. And he's a character that, he used to be more of a comic. And then when we did the Muppet Show, he became more of a straight man. And so he's kind of like the neutral character. He's the pogo of the group.
Ozzy, this is not going to work.
Just read off the page, Frog.
Leggies and jungle funds. Leggies and jungle
Hey, you know where I
funds?
got that clip?
Leggies and jungle funds.
All right, so my typing is bad.
Leggies and jungle funds. Welcome again, Tithy Muppel Shocks. My name is Kermit the Forg. The Forg?
He's one of the very simplest puppets because inside of his head, there's nothing in there but my hand.
I love that. I mean, this clip, goes for a while as he talks about Kermit, and they actually have a section talking about Miss Piggy here.
And
I'm very good with him.
I know you are.
Very good.
And many little girls in particular absolutely love. Little girls love Piggy too. It's amazing the range of people that like this character.
It's a round, I get around to town.
How about Fozzie?
I do like hubba. I do a double one. I could do quadruples that make you sick. I don't know. He also is sad sometimes, and again, it's the body attitude.
If you look at his face and you see that the nose and the eyes are virtually 3 circles in a triangle, with the eyes very tightly focused over that center circle of the nose, then you really have the dramatic center of most Muppet faces. Once you get that right, almost invariably the rest of the face will fall into place around it.
Did you notice, Kristen, that the Muppets actually have their eyes kind of in a cross-eyed position, so they focus on the tip of their nose, so it looks like when they look at the camera, it's actually looking at you instead of off past you? That they do, all the Muppets have that?
I did not realize that. But you know what I think is very funny that he just said? He was talking about how the nose and the eyes, they make a triangle.
Yes.
And that's unique, it's something, I don't think he said uniquely, like, about the Muppets, but the way he said it, it's like, but that's the thing. If you look at even humans,
yes,
in any other thing, it's everybody's eyes and nose make a triangle.
Yeah, but it's a very tight, for Fozzie, it's very tight. It's a tight, eyes, nose. And of course, the fact that they focus on the tip of the nose, so that the Muppet's eyes are tilted a little bit cross-eyed, so that when they look into the camera, that it looks like they're talking to you instead of somewhere else, where if they were just pointed straight ahead, they wouldn't have that kind of quality. Also, like to say hello to Scott joining us in the chat. He says Jim Henson was so ahead of his time and so talented. I'd like to say hi to Jim. And Steve Constantino, what's up, man? Steven's worked a lot with Henson because he was a Gamorrean guard in Return of the Jedi. And the Creature Shop did a lot of those special effects, to my understanding. So Yeah, I mean, just the Henson Muppet magic with Michael and Frank Oz is amazing. But let's see here. We have another one of our favorite Muppet characters. What do you like, Statler and Waldorf?
Yeah.
Elderly gentleman. Oh, I can assure you, you'll be in no danger.
You're right. We'll be in Chicago.
For their own safety, while they were dozing, I took the precaution of chaining them to their chairs.
And so here he is now, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm ready, Kermit.
Yeah, I'm introducing you.
Introduce fast. I'm really ready.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Great Gonzo.
You gotta love that. And of course, he crashes in the balcony. One of the other Muppets that I love so much is Ralph the dog. He was a musician. He played piano, and it was always the cool side of the pillow. He was always the coolest one in the band.
How can you operate without a roof?
Right hand. And I can't get in the right hand right now, but normally...
Yeah, he's too big. He's too important for it
Jim's
now.
voice.
But normally, this is...
Back in the old days, he wasn't too big to do the right hand.
This is a pin, but normally there's somebody doing the right hand on this.
Somebody. Yeah. But back when I was famous, I used to do the Jimmy... Did you know, Frank, I used to do the Jimmy Dean show?
Yeah.
I did the Jimmy Dean show for many years.
Yeah, I guess everybody kind of forgot you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I live in a cardboard box.
You got this video, and we're gonna I can probably put a link to it in the show notes. Is just amazing because you can see the life just and the joy emitting from Jim Henson's voice, and it coming out in his puppets, and it's almost like second nature, him just doing the puppeteering of these beloved characters, and you can see the smile on his face. He just loves what he does. That is a man that just was able to just transcend so many different things in his life to be a complete icon and a legend.
I mean, I was in my early teens when he passed, and so you don't hear very often anything with Jim talk anymore because he's been gone for as long as he has. But I never realized how you can easily tell that he is Kermit. Like how much his speaking voice is so much like Kermit.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like an exaggerated version of him.
Absolutely. How about this, Kristen? One of your favorite characters, right?
Oh, good. Yeah.
He totally misunderstands words. If he has to serve a meatball, well, you can imagine how he serves a meatball.
15 love.
You gotta love the Swedish chef. He's the best. You gotta love the Swedish chef. Just one of the best.
Always one of my favorites. And it was funny when Nashville had a hockey player who at one point his last name was Bork.
Oh yes.
And so whenever he scored a goal, they would play the Swedish chef.
Bork.
Exactly. I mean, it was awesome.
It is awesome. I think Lindsay says Beaker the Muppet. Yes, Beaker's great. We could have had a list, and I thought about this, of our favorite Muppet characters, but because we wanted to focus on the parks that we can't go to at this moment in time, but we will hopefully in the near future, we wanted to dedicate this to everyone there.
We'll just add it to the whole list of show topics.
Absolutely. We'll add it to the list of show topics for sure. So in the meantime, let's go ahead, take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the Muppet attractions at Walt Disney World Resort.
Sorcerer Radio. Wow, this is Stan Lee. Excelsior.
SRSounds.com. And we're back on the program. Kristen and Aljon here on the Disney List. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook.com/the Disney List and give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe, and tell all your Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars friends to like, share, and subscribe. Right now, let's talk about the different things that we can experience at the Disney parks. You know, there's not a whole lot of Muppet stuff left at the parks, unfortunately. Muppets had a slight resurgence a few years ago when they had that ABC sitcom that they had in prime time that kind of was, you know, different. A lot of people were actually shocked at the Muppets when they came back to do the show on TV. I actually liked it, gave it a shot, and it actually got better in their writing and their portrayal of the Muppets in the second season. But after that, it really didn't give them a chance. But they kind of did everything on YouTube, or still doing everything on YouTube these days. Kristen?
I think one of the issues was because so many people that were watching it were kids when the Muppets were big, didn't realize the things that really the Muppets were talking about, you know? And so when it came on TV, they were expecting it to be kid-friendly, but because they're matured and understand things at a different level, they were watching it thinking it was, at times, offensive, or it was not family appropriate. But that's what, I mean, if you go back, what Jim Henson did back in the 80s, and things with like Fraggle Rock and stuff, that stuff was not at all kid friendly. Well, when you look at there's like an underlying thing to all of it.
A lot
and
of
as a kid,
subjects, yeah.
And as a kid, you don't pick up on those things. But it's set up because kids can't pick up or understand what's really being said. They think it's something else.
Right.
But adults see it in a different way, that in a sense it's actually, I think, more enjoyable for families to watch those things if you can remember that children's minds don't have the ability to read through those little lines of things that are being said.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So having said that, there are a lot of attractions that have gone by the wayside. Okay. So as of late, because the Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival didn't go on, right, which is what Kristen's shirt is sporting, they usually have the Muppets on display there in those topiaries, notably Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy. And who knows if they're going to come back? We don't know.
I don't even remember the last time we saw them out.
A couple years ago.
It's got to be more than a couple years.
Well, we had our picture taken with them. So yeah, it's got to be. Also, because of the last Muppet movie, they had the Epcot Muppet Scavenger Hunt that they had there as well. That's long since passed. The Volunteers Cavalcade with the, I guess, puppeteered or animatronic Muppets that they had there in the cavalcade, in the parade, was cool. And speaking of parade, Disney Stars and Motor Cars Parade had a Muppet jalopy out there with the Muppets waving to the crowd. You and I saw Muppets on Location Days of Swine and Roses when we got married.
Yep.
So they're at DHS. Also, Here Comes the Muppets was a stage show as well, with Animal and the band. And Hollywood's Pretty Woman was another retired stage attraction that they had there.
I was going to say, those are before I ever went to the park, I think.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of stuff that has come and gone in regards to the Muppets there at the park. Christopher says hello. And we have a lot of what our listeners and our viewers have seen in terms of their favorite attractions that we'll get into. So we'll talk, Scott, about your, in the chat, he lists some of his favorite attractions there. But let's talk about what we currently have, shall we?
Yes.
Did you know, though, just as a side note, did you know that there was actually going to be a Muppet Land that they were actually going to do when Henson and Disney were going to merge, when Disney was going to purchase the Muppets?
I did not know that.
Yep, they actually had a whole land. It was going to be a lot bigger than what we currently have or had over the past 10 years. Plus.
And when was this supposed to happen?
This was back in the early 90s, before, or actually late 80s, before Jim passed away.
So see, that would have been before I ever stepped foot in a Disney park.
There you go.
Because the first time I stepped foot in a Disney park was right after Christmas in December of 1991.
There you go. Well, speaking of 1991, there was a Muppet takeover of Disneyland for the entire year. It was supposed to be anyway. The crew of Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and the other Disney characters were going to take a long vacation, and then the Muppets were going to take over for the entire year. Kermit the Frog was going to be in the park and doing all this other stuff, which was kind of cool. So they actually had Miss Piggy taking over as Cleopatra in It's a Small World. Animal was in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pre-Johnny Depp.
Yeah, pre-Johnny Depp. So those are proposed things that happened. But,
the Matterhorn being green.
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, some of the ideas came to pass.
I think this would have been better than that pink 25th anniversary Cinderella's birthday cake castle.
Yeah, yeah. So some of the proposed ideas for Muppet Land actually came to pass, like Muppet Vision 3D. But after Jim passed away, May 16th of 1990, all those changes stopped, and it ended up, part of that collapse happened with the Jim Henson Company moving over to Disney, and that didn't happen. Now, of course, the company would later, sell or license the Muppets, and then eventually the Muppets would land over at Disney. So there you have it. So basically, part of that company was sold back to the Henson family in 2003, and in 2004, Henson sold the rights to Muppets and the Bear in the Big Blue House, which was also a Disney Hollywood Studios attraction, were sold to Disney. So there you have it.
So Fraggle Rock and Sesame Street, are those all still owned then by the
Henson Company
family?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. It's
so Disney and Henson are the only people that own anything Henson.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now, from my understanding.
Okay.
From my understanding, yes. And the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. So there you go. So at any rate, so let's talk about some of the things that people can check out. Now we have some, I think we've got some, before we launch into the top 5, we have some honorable mentions.
Okay.
So let's talk about the Muppet Courtyard, because in and of itself, that's kind of a fun Muppet themed area. It's got Miss Piggy, Statue of Liberty. You've got Gonzo holding a megaphone. You've got Fozzie Bear with his movie camera, and it's right in front of Muppet Vision 3D. So that's fun. There's a lot of different Easter eggs.
But they got rid of most of it.
They did get rid of a lot of it, yes.
Except for Miss Piggy.
Except for Miss Piggy, which is sad.
Yes,
really sad.
Because the other Muppets are cooler than Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy, I didn't say that.
I said that.
Yeah. The Courtyard was going to be folded into Grand Avenue back in 2017, so some of that stuff is still there. A lot of it isn't. A lot of the Easter eggs have disappeared, but some of it can still be found there at the Stage One Company store. So there you go.
That store is cool. If you walk around, you're just looking at the stuff in it. It's actually a really cool place to just wander. If it's hot and you need to cool down, just walk through there and just look at the cool like memorabilia and stuff that's in there.
Exactly.
Disney did a good job with that shop.
It is a fun shop, and what I love about the Stage One Company store is the fact that it's one of the few places you can find a good selection of Muppet merchandise, from beanies to T-shirts, books, coffee mugs, just everything you could imagine for Muppets plushes, because you really can't find a lot of Muppet stuff at all, even in the World of Disney store. You have to be, so if you're a hardcore Muppet fan, that would be the place for you. And the one thing that I wish, and we talked about it in the old WDW Tiki Room show, that never came to pass, was the opening of the Muppet Creation Workshop, and they never opened it. They never opened it, and I am so bummed because I wanted to build my own Muppet.
I don't know why they didn't, because look at everything they have Disney has done of build your own, whether it's been, I mean, look at over in Pandora with like getting to pick out this little dragon or whatever.
Yeah, the Banshee.
Banshee, thank you. I was like trying to look for the right term.
Right.
Those are huge. And just like, build your own lightsaber and everything like that, that is build your own. People like to do. And what's cooler than a build your own Muppet? I mean, you could kind of make yourself into a Muppet. Who doesn't want to have a Muppet that looks like them?
I absolutely would.
I mean, it's
that, if we had,
to me, that's cooler. That as cool as it is for the lightsaber experience and stuff like that, I'd much rather have a Muppet, that I can make, and I
wouldn't
just
that be
think
great?
that's cool.
You could host your Dining at Disney podcast with your own Muppet.
I mean, really,
wouldn't that be cool? I don't know. I think it would be great.
Bubba could have his Muppet. I could be my Muppet, and we could do like our own little Muppet show just for like one episode.
That would be amazing.
That would be hilarious.
Can you imagine a Kristen Aljon a Disney list with our own Muppets, having to marionette our puppet our own Muppets? That'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. Anyway, I digress. We need to find that Muppet Creation Workshop, build our own online or something. But it would be cool to actually do it, because the Build-A-Bear Workshop is a cool experience, especially for families to make their teddy bears. It'd be great to make your own Muppet. That's what I'm saying.
I think that was a big missed money opportunity for Disney.
Agreed.
Because Disney likes any which way it can make a lot of money. And that would have made them a lot.
That would have made them a lot for sure.
Even people that weren't Muppet fans would have gotten, I think, their own Muppet.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You'd be able to take home your own Muppet and dress up your own Muppet, give the Muppet all kinds of, crazy hair and googly eyes and just weird accessories, So anyway, we digress. Let's now move into our top 5 attractions that are Muppet-based that you can find only at Walt Disney World Resort. Kristen, we've got
number 5.
Aha. What's number 5?
And that is it pronounced Pizzi Rizzo?
Yes.
Okay.
Pizzi Rizzo.
And that is located where the Toy Story Pizza Planet used to be. And I think it is much cooler now that it's done by Rizzo. It's just, I think, a little bit, there's more theming, I think, to it instead of the way the other one was.
Pizza Planet wasn't really heavily themed, I don't think.
I didn't think so either.
But Rizzo the Rat is just a hilarious character, and this pizzeria looks amazing. The front facade looks great.
It does. It looks like a New York pizzeria.
It looks like it belongs on the Muppet Show. It looks that good. Like, it looks like it could be in a Muppet movie, right?
I think they did a great job with it. You walk in and they've got like the cases, just like any typical pizza place that, specialty pizza place where you go in and they have their own merchandise. Like, here's a shirt and here's a hat and here's, the glass or whatever from the place. And they've got that, which I never understood why they never sold it.
Yeah.
Because, we were there when the place had first opened and asked about that.
Yeah, they were supposed to sell T-shirts and mugs and beer, ale glasses and everything. I don't think they ever did.
They didn't.
Yeah. Now, once again, Pizza Rizzo is in Hollywood Studios there at the Walt Disney World Resort, adjacent to Muppet Vision 3D. And there, it consists of 2 floors, indoor, outdoor dining options, decorated to resemble that New York pizzeria. Right. Specifically it's a Los Angeles pizza place, according to the delivery map hung on the wall. Wow. I never knew that. Did you know that?
No, because it looks
New York to me. And then the walls are decorated with photos of real world locations such as the Brooklyn Bridge. That's probably why. Leaning Tower of Pisa, which definitely photoshopped to include the Muppets, and other paraphernalia, including trophies, caricatures, vinyl records sung by various Muppet bands.
it even has the outdoor stairwell for like apartments, and you see that's a very traditional New York thing.
Absolutely.
So I just think it just reminds me of New York. That's all I'm just gonna say. They can say it's LA, but I still think it looks like New York.
But how is but how's the food, Kristen? Being the Disney foodie, dining at Disney, tell me about the food.
The food is what you would expect of a quick service restaurant.
Okay.
It is quick service pizza.
All right.
The pizza really isn't any different than what you had when it was Toy Story Planet.
Pizza Planet, yeah.
I mean, you still have the choice of a meat lovers, a pepperoni or a vegetable cheese pizza. They've got an antipasto salad. There's a meatball sub. If you are not a meat eater, they do have a spicy Italian sausage sub, which is plant-based. You've got kid meals there, of course, beverages, your typical beverages. If you are looking for something a little more Italian that's fun to eat for dessert, they do have a cannoli there.
Nice. Very nice.
And it actually is a very good cannoli. Now, if you're Italian, you're going to go, really?
Not so much.
Not so much. But, because, I mean, it's not like getting a cannoli in Sicily or anything. But
True.
It's good for... It's a good dessert for a quick service place.
And you would know because, we would know because we both have been in Italy.
True.
So there you go. There you go.
Yes, I have had a cannoli in Sicily, where that is like the birthplace of cannolis.
Absolutely. Well, without further ado,
Number 4.
Here we are at the Regal Eagle Smokehouse. The restaurant opened at the American Adventure this February, themed around Sam the Eagle, replacing the Liberty Inn. And this is a barbecue cook-off theme. So Sam's Centennial Cook-Off, a salute to all cook-offs, but mostly barbecue. Reference from Sam the Eagle sign in Muppet Vision 3D. And competitors can be seen in the artwork that include Janice from the band, the Electric Mayhem Band, Gonzo, Bobo the Bear, and Ralph the Dog. So they all apparently have different barbecue dishes that might be featured on the menu.
Now, I remember seeing this when they were doing the construction to remodel the place, because it was closed for a good amount of time for them to redo it all, which I really liked. The Liberty Tree Tavern, even though I've always had problems saying it.
It's not Liberty Tree Tavern. It's just the Liberty. It's not the Liberty Tree Tavern.
That's what used to be there.
Liberty Tree Tavern. Wasn't that at the Liberty Tree Tavern? Wasn't that the one at? Oh shoot! What was it called? I'm having a brain thing. But anyway.
Isn't this? Oh no, I'm getting this confused.
Yes, Liberty. This.
I was thinking this was where. Oh, no, yeah. No.
Yes, this is actually. No, this is not. This is at Epcot.
Yeah, I was thinking it was at Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom. You see, you're thinking Liberty Tree Tavern. No, that's still there. This took the place of the
yes.
The inn.
Okay.
What's it called? Liberty Inn, right?
Not
Tavern, it was the inn, and that was right there in front of the American Gardens Theater, there at the American Pavilion.
Yes.
So this is the Sam Centennial Cook-Off. A salute to all cook-offs, but mostly barbecue. A competition for patrons and pitmasters. So that's what the poster says, which is nice. I like that poster.
Why do I remember seeing the poster for this in Magic Kingdom somewhere?
I don't know. I think I'm
losing my mind.
I think you're just dreaming it. If you can dream it, you can do it. But anyway, no, not quite. Lindsay says in the chat, we were supposed to eat at Pizza Place when this year because of the because what did she say? Because is stupid. Because of the coronavirus, they had to cancel till next year. Yeah. Hey, Jason Becker joining us in the chat. Y'all are picking places we plan to eat now on our canceled trip. Sam the Eagle is my spirit Muppet. Yes. Sam the Eagle is amazing. Always been amazing. So
Menu.
What about my spirit Muppet?
No. Do we want to talk about the menu?
Yeah, let's talk about the menu.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm just going to read a few of the dishes. They have a sliced Texas brisket sandwich, a barbecue burger, Kansas City smoked half chicken, Memphis dry rub pork ribs. There's a North Carolina chopped smoked pork butt platter. That's a mouthful. There's also the American Platter, but it doesn't tell you on Disney's website what the American Platter is, just that it's served with garlic toast and your choice of side. So is that like a little bit of everything?
A little bit of everything.
I hope so.
Yeah. So what is the name of that platter again?
It is called the American Platter.
Okay. So the American Platter it's got I think it's a brat, some style of brat barbecue.
Okay. So
and then it has the
South
brisket.
Carolina smoked sausage.
Yeah, that's it. And then it has the smoked brisket.
Okay.
And then it also has pulled pork, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
They also have, if you are not a meat eater and you want something plant-based, you can have the barbecue jackfruit burger, and that is vegan friendly, doesn't have honey or anything like that in it. Mm-hmm. For sides, okay, these first two, I'm like, okay, now I'm hungry. Beer battered onion rings.
Oh my.
Baked beans with burnt ends.
Oh my Lord.
I think that's what I may have to make for Memorial Day.
Oh, I think I'm gonna.
Baked beans with burnt ends.
I'm loving life right now.
Okay, well, they also have creamy casserole, seasoned French fries, garlic toast, house-made pickles, and macaroni and cheese.
That sounds so good.
And the nice thing that I do like is they do have for kids, there's a cheeseburger, but they also have like barbecue chicken leg, there's barbecue rib, and chicken salad. So your kids have choices of like something very like typical kid food, something healthy, and then something that fits the menu like an adult would get.
So good. Sounds good.
For dessert, I would recommend going with the s'mores brownies.
Oh yeah.
That sounds delicious.
That sounds so good. Okay. Let's see. We are at attraction. This is number
4.
Are we at number 4?
No.
Nope.
Number 3.
There we go. You see, my board is still mislabeled because of the software update. So, number 3, we have the Muppet Mobile Lab. I love the Muppet Mobile Lab. It's so cool. I absolutely love this thing. Check this out.
Follow the Muppet Mobile Lab.
Featuring 2 of our favorite Muppets.
Hello. Say hi, Beaker.
Who doesn't love Beaker?
As you well know, I am Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, and this is my longtime loyal laboratory assistant, Beaker. Also with us are our intrepid interns. Let's have a hand for Newton and Einstein. There's Einstein. Hello. Now, we are from Muppet Labs, where for many years, I've created inventions to make everyone's life easier. Isn't that right, Beaky? We've been invited by Mr. Mickey Mouse himself to share some groundbreaking work going on at Muppet Labs and to get you excited about science.
I love this Muppet Mobile Lab. Part of the Living Character initiative that they had at the parks for a while now. But they have been retired everywhere else around the Disney parks around the world except for Epcot. And hopefully we'll be able to experience it again because I think that attraction is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now, how about this for mashups? I was just thinking about this, right? Figment and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew and Beaker together. How about that? Could you see that? That would be an epic mashup, wouldn't it?
It would be very much, instead of being a STEM kind of subject, it would go into STEAM.
Kristen, you'll be here all week.
Science and art.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's STEAM. That's not STEM.
There you go. There you go. I like the Muppet Mobile Lab a lot. It's a lot of fun. We've experienced it on several different occasions there at the park. And it was initially developed for DCA over there in California. And it, once again, part of the Living Characters Initiative. And it had advanced audio animatronic remote control puppeteering technology. And this all started in February of 2007 there at DCA, over there in the back lot. And then it ended up moving over to Walt Disney World. And how cool was that?
Okay, so there's one thing I'm going to say about all this like Living Initiative and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Disney needs to get back more to that, because having the characters interacting and things like that come out, whether it be a talking trash can or the Muppet Lab, things like that, get people engaged other than just being like, I need to get from here to there, or
like
why can't I think of her? Yeah, or the Divine over at Animal Kingdom. It gets people to stop and interact with what's around them and not just be about getting to wherever they're trying to go. And it's one of the things that I thought was so cool when I was a teenager and went to Disney for the first time, because I grew up going to amusement parks. I mean, I went to Geauga Lake and SeaWorld and Cedar Point because that's where I lived. That's what was there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's something that always has stood out to me that made Disney different than any other place that you could go, was those experiences that you could have when you're not in an attraction or a restaurant or anything like that. You had something going on out in the open that got people engaged in what was going on.
Exactly.
And Disney hasn't been doing so much of that.
Well, they're doing some of it now at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And also in Pandora, because they're starting to have these trips of people and people walking around in those, those kind of exosuits and things like that. So they're kind of getting back to it. Although I do love the fact that it has those advanced audio animatronics there in the attraction that seemingly interact with the people that are there. And I think I really can appreciate that, and absolutely love this Muppet Mobile Lab, because once again, they look like they're actual Muppet counterparts. They're not people in outfits. They are, they are people, or they are Muppets. They look like the Muppets on TV. That's what they look like.
Yeah.
And I love that. So at any rate, we have only 2 more things to talk about. I don't know if some of these, I don't know if the order of these is going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Is going to kind of shake things up a little bit, if it might be a little controversial for some. But shall we go ahead and unveil number 2?
Yes.
Number 2.
I wonder if I should just go ahead and play a riff. Should I?
Do
okay.
Do it.
Gonzo?
Oh. Sorry, boss.
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here, and welcome to Muppet Vision 3D. Now, let me show you around our research center. See, here in this modern high-tech facility...
Hey, careful!
Here in this modern high-tech facility, we have perfected Muppet Vision 3D, a new film process which we're about to demonstrate to you. Now, working the projector is an old friend of ours, the Swedish chef. Chef, everything okay?
Hey, they're hopping, their machining is going, they're flumy.
Exactly.
It's Muppet Vision 3D. And 3D. So is it just me? I love this attraction. It's great. It's also a great respite for families who happen to be overheated. They want to go inside the Muppet Vision Theater and hang out for a good 20 minutes. This is the place for you, because it is nice and air conditioned in there, and you can just relax.
We've seen people sleeping in there before.
We have seen people sleeping in there before. But what I love more about this attraction than the actual show is the pre-show. Because the pre-show on TV is so entertaining. Like, I want to just sit and just watch the pre-show roll because of the way it works with, the Muppets going across, one screen, then to the next and to the next, they're all tied together and it looks great. It has the spirit of the Muppet Show, which I love so much, and all the great characters and the Easter eggs inside the waiting area there for the pre-show. You could look around and see all the Easter eggs from the Muppet Show and the different Muppet movies that they've had over the years. So much to see and discover there in Muppet Vision. So, Kristen, what do you think about this?
I would say that I never get tired of hanging around in the pre-show. And it's one of the few times that you're in a waiting area that I'm not like, oh, come on. You just kind of get sucked into watching that go on the TVs. And I think the fact for somebody like me who has a very short attention span, the fact that it moves from TV to TV as the stuff goes on, it keeps your brain going a little bit like more so that you're not just kind of like,
yeah.
Because that's sometimes how I feel waiting. Even with something that should be entertaining, I just get bored with it.
Yeah.
I'm
right.
like, oh, do I really have to sit here?
So Muppet Vision 3D is at Hollywood Studios, yes?
Yes. The other thing is the very end of that.
The very end of what?
Very end of Muppet Vision 3D.
Oh, at the very end?
Yeah, the part that they call makes it 4D.
Oh, it is 4D for sure. It is.
That part.
Some people actually call it 4D because it is 4D. You actually have Sweetums that comes up, from the film and actually interacts with people in the theater looking for, Bean. So that's kind of cool.
Bean Bunny.
You gotta love the Bean Bunny. Absolutely. So they're at Hollywood Studios. It was the last project directed by Jim Henson, R.I.P. And it was the first anniversary. It was the attraction opened on the first anniversary of his death on May 16th, 1991. How about that?
Oh, that's really creepy.
That is. And of course, it was replicated as well at Disneyland over there in DCA. It's now been replaced, but very cool indeed. So, of course, it has all these great 3D effects, all the different sight gags, of course, as Kristen alluded to, 4D due to all the different in-theater effects, explosions, and different things like that.
That's one of that and the Walt.
Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, in the back.
And their comments like with the penguins for the halibut. I mean, it's just entertaining.
It's all the crazy jokes and dry humor that people have come to know and love from the Muppets over time. So neat stuff there for sure. And we are near our number one. We are just hovering over the number one experience there at the Disney parks for the Muppets. But before we go into all of that, Kristen, shall we discuss what some of our viewers and listeners had to say in regards to our question? What were their favorite Disney Muppets attractions at the theme parks? And it could be something that is current or something that has long since gone. So let's read some of the posts here, some of the different things that people had said regarding this. Kristen, can you read some of these here?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Sasha says, Muppet Vision 3D. Always got to be Muppet Vision 3D. I see it at least 3 times every time we go. There was the time last March 2019, I brought Ralph the dog along too, and we both had a hoot laughing at Sam Eagle. A salute to all nations, but mostly America. That said, I do also enjoy Muppet Mobile Labs and Epcot too. That doesn't get nearly enough love.
True that, Sasha. Great response. Danny Edwards says, my favorite is Muppet Vision 3D. Both of our daughters love that one and always talk about it.
Aw.
Yeah, how about that?
Leanne says the show near the Hall of Presidents in Liberty Square.
Well, good for Lee. Looks like we might be talking about that. Lindsay in the chat says the best has to be the greatest moments in history, but mostly the American parts. I love that show. It's the best. I hope they bring it back. Sam the Eagle is my spirit Muppet. Yes. Absolutely. It is your spirit Muppet for sure. So let me scan. This is a live show, so we're scanning to see what people say about this. And I'm looking and I'm looking. I don't know if we have anybody that responded here. But Ryan McGuire had said, Muppet Vision 3D definitely doesn't live up to its full potential in my opinion, but I still love it, and I still think a refurb would be awesome, or even a Muppet Christmas Carol overlay. Oh, great idea, Ryan. I like that. I also love great moments in history in the Muppet Mobile Labs. Both are always a great way to rest while enjoying an entertaining show. 100%. Andrea says, Muppet Vision 3D. Rebecca Klein says, I love moments in Muppet history. So that's great.
Great moments in history.
Yes, great moments in history. In Muppet history. Joan Crane says, I love the pre-show before going into Muppets 4D. She called it 4D. Mm-hmm. You see, that's awesome. And let's see here. Looking to see what other comments we may have. Scrolling. I like the fact that people are with our list so far, Kristen. I like it so far. So this is good. So let's see what some other, do we have any other kind of.
And for those people who say that food does not count as an attraction, I beg to differ.
Well, there is a lot. There is
because
some
to me,
it's
an attraction.
It is.
And I am pretty sure I would almost put money on the fact that Bubba would agree with me that food at the Disney parks can be its own attraction, especially because the theming.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. We are looking, and Pirate of the Pacific says, CA Disney needs more Muppets. Yes, they definitely do. Absolutely, they do. I agree with that. And so I think that's basically some of the comments that we've had here. Let's look here in the chat to see. Lindsay had made a mention, and yeah. Scott King says, love great moments in American history show in the Magic Kingdom in Liberty Square. It's a shame they took it away. Yeah. I hope it comes back, though. You never know. These days, this day and age, my understanding is it might just happen. And that's why it's actually my number one. And so hopefully that works out. You know? So, I love this attraction. It's killer. And here's a little segment here.
Put it to a vote. All those in favor of making Sam's story more entertaining, say aye. Aye! The ayes have it.
Oh, it appears democracy has spoken. All right, Kermit, you and your band of weirdos can help.
Okay.
But please, do it with dignity.
Oh, sure, Sam. We always do things with dignity. Hey, Kermit, the all-chicken chorus is ready for their big number. The clock heard round the world. Get it, girls!
So there you have it. Muppet attractions at the Disney parks. And I hope, from my understanding, they're going to be coming back. So we'll just have to see how that works out. All right. Having said that, Kristen, what are your thoughts on our number one?
I like that show. It's fun to stop and watch that.
I think it embodies what the Muppets are really all about, which are entertaining, spoofing, which they do a lot of. The spoofing is great, and which I think Muppet Vision 3D has a lot of the humor, but I think the humor plus the fact that they're spoofing on something, I think really embodies what the Muppets have been known to do in the Muppet Theater and what the Muppet Show did a lot of. There's so many of their sketches were spoofs on, action, drama, sci-fi, comedy of the day, what have you, musicals, That's when they are at their best, is when they're
a comedic take on life.
That's right. The Muppet comedic take on life, which I love. So, Kristen, what parting notes do you have in regards to what we're talking about with the Muppets here today and the attractions?
Parting words.
Parting words.
I can't think of anything.
I think they should have more Muppets. Disney should do more stuff based on Muppets, and it should be little tidbits of surprise and delight sprinkled throughout all the parks. Doesn't need to be big. It could be as awesome as, and should be as awesome as, the Muppet Mobile Lab. It could be as simple as having the Muppets, overtop some restaurant, talking to people, interacting with people, much like a Barker Bird of the Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
They could do a Dapper Dan's version of the Muppets.
I like that idea, Kristen. That's a great idea.
That would be cool to see. You could have, let's see, of course, you have to have Miss Piggy, yes. Kermit. You got to have Ralph. And who else would sing? Gonzo?
Miss Piggy would sing because she's a singer.
No, but you have to have all four singing. Remember? It's Dapper Dan's.
Well, Piggy, Kermit, Ralph, and maybe Dr. Teeth.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. Of course, if Animal does any singing, he'd just be like, singing. Be crazy. But anyway.
There's a reason he's a drummer.
Yes, exactly. No, it's very good. Good times. Hey, thank you for joining us on the show, The Disney List. We're talking about our top 5 Muppet-based attractions there at Walt Disney World. Leave us your questions and comments here on this show. Don't forget to visit us on Facebook and let us know what you think. And if you have any, ideas for future programs, please let us know. Send us a message or give us a DM on Facebook. Kristen, what's the best way that people can follow you on the interwebs?
They can check out Dining at Disney on all social media platforms, and then make sure to check out the Dining at Disney podcast that Bubba and I do weekly. Last week we talked about the Four Seasons Orlando and some of their chefs and staff, what they're doing at home, and how you can bring the Four Seasons into your own home. So like on Dining at Disney, you'll actually find the recipes for all that stuff. Awesome. And once again, you can follow me at AljonGo on Instagram. You can also follow us on Instagram at the Disney List Cast, where we're posting our Disney t-shirt challenge, the hashtag 30-day Disney shirt challenge. So we posted pictures there of Oswald and Star Wars shirts like the Mandalorian, our classic Walt Disney World t-shirts, Kristen and I, and D23 shirts. So yes, awesome stuff there for you to check out. So please do that. Kristen, you want to give a shout out to our Sorcerer Radio friends and family? Yes, make sure to check out this Sorcerer Radio as well as the Sorcerer Radio Fun Zone on Facebook. Fun Zone. And then our friends over at the Disney Dorks. They're a great place on Facebook to check out. Lots of fun people in there. And then don't forget to check out our great friends, Park Hopper Sid and Park Hopper John. WDW Park Hoppers goes live Thursday on Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern. Absolutely. On behalf of, I'm not going to even say on behalf of, you know what? On behalf of our cats, we decided to behave tonight. My name's Aljon. And I'm Kristen. And we'll see you real soon. Yeah. This podcast is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or its holdings and is intended for entertainment purposes. Thank you all for being on the show, checking us out live. Don't forget to tell your friends, and we will see you guys next week. Love you guys. Stay safe. And I just took my selfie of my Disney shirt show. Awesome. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.